I'm Amanda Lamond, and I'm the founder of Awakening Lawyers. I created Awakening Lawyers for lawyers who are disillusioned and disheartened by the way law is currently practiced, but who have a spiritual calling to build the next legal system, the legal system that humanity is now crying out for. I used to be a lawyer too, but now I call myself a legal futurist, a soul coach to lawyers, and a spiritual channel. I've spent over 20 years figuring out what it is I'm here to do, and so my clients tend to be people who are struggling with what it is they are here to do too. Your disillusionment and disheartenment with how law is practiced could be manifesting in any number of ways. One lawyer at a conference I held said to me, "I am entirely held together by medication, I just don't talk about it publicly yet." So it could be that you're suffering from depression, just this feeling of, I don't know why I became a lawyer. This isn't what I signed up for. I'm not able to help people. The levels of aggression in the profession don't suit me. I'm out of alignment with who I am and the work I currently do. And then the second part is this part about the spiritual calling, that you're a conscious being, that you are on a journey of awakening, and you're starting to realize that there is something more that you need to be doing in the world. So the lawyers I work with are those who are ready to heed that calling. If you are somebody who's not aware of the dysfunction and the toxicity in the profession, or you're completely happy working 16-hour days and you can't wait to make partner or equity partner, whatever the next level of the rung is that you're climbing, then you're probably not going to resonate that highly with these programs. If you are an awakening lawyer, you know that we are in the middle of the planet's greatest spiritual awakening ever. You may be more or less conscious of this, but you know somewhere deep in your heart that this is occurring and that you can see in the world the shifts and changes, but you may not have a framework for understanding the enormity of what's going on. The fact is that we are in the last third of the greatest awakening that we have known within living history. What is happening is that the planet itself is ascending to a new level of consciousness, along with its inhabitants. We have been operating under some very heavy programming, really for millennia. Programming that has us believing that we need to fear each other, that humanity can't inherently be trusted, that people who aren't like us, we need to be protected against them. And the legal system has been built on these premises, which is why it is inherently not able, the current system, to support the flourishing of a new civilization. Currently, the programming is that we need war in order to assure our own safety, but all of that is changing. What's happening in this great awakening is that more and more humans, every day, every week, are waking up and realizing these four things. That the reality we experience in the third dimensional world is a direct reflection or outpicturing of our interior worlds. The world is created through collective consciousness. Number two, we are not mere mortals, but in fact we are divine beings made in the image of the Creator or Source, and as such we are endowed with creative power, which we have barely begun to scratch the surface of. Number three, we have been programmed by a dysfunctional and dystopian society to fear each other and to live disconnected from humanity as a whole and from the planet itself. And number four, to restore equilibrium on the planet, we are now required to create new systems that are aligned with universal law, and these can only be created from the inside out. By finding peace within, we can create peace without. As each human awakens, it's kind of, if you can imagine, like a light is going on as they reconnect to source, to the source of all light, the source of all love. However you choose to term that, you could view it and call it God, or the universe, or universal consciousness, or the divine, or Yahweh, or Allah. It doesn't matter what particular path you have been on, because they lead to the same place. We are spiritual beings currently having a human experience. So the shift is being made from ego consciousness to soul consciousness. But that's a really hard one for lawyers, because we work in a profession that is entirely dominated by the ego, and based on the premise that we are dealing with one ego versus another ego instead of one soul with another soul. So a lot of lawyers who are firmly entrenched in this ego-based paradigm are very threatened by these changes that are happening. It's pretty radical where we are headed. But Awakening Lawyers is the support system for those lawyers who are aware of these changes and you desire to build the next legal system based on higher consciousness. It doesn't matter where you are in the journey. Whether you are somebody who is just starting out on a spiritual journey and all you know is that you don't want to live a life that is so out of alignment with who you are, or you are somebody who is much further along, who has already come to the realization that you are a legal light worker and you are here to build the next system. Wherever you are, we can meet you. We come from every continent, these Awakening Lawyers, and we may speak different languages, but we connect with open hearts and open minds because we have incarnated together at this tumultuous time to serve humanity and this shared mission that we have to build a new legal system. Please have a look at the programs that Awakening Lawyers currently has on offer. These change from time to time. You may be drawn to Lawyering from the Seat of the Soul, or the Legal Lightworkers Academy, or for students, the Awakening Lawyers Student Mentorship Program, or Create a Life You Love in the Law. Whatever feels right to you right now, please have a look at the programs, reach out. I love to hear from Awakening Lawyers, and for many of them, the best thing I hear is, "This feels like coming home."